All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to tonight's live stream. Sorry to disappoint y'all. It's Libs, it's not Birb, right? I'm seeing a lot of people saying, what's up, Birb? Hey, Birb. And yeah, it's not Birb, it's me, and I'm here to talk about Bitcoin. I want to give you guys an update on Bitcoin and the general crypto market. Show you guys some stuff I'm watching in the altcoin market and my thoughts on where Bitcoin might be heading in the next couple of hours and the next couple of days. So if you have any questions, any short requests, or anything like that, just ask me and we'll take a look at that after the Bitcoin update. I'm gonna run the intro now, and right after the intro, we're gonna take a look at some interesting setups. It's a long intro, so just bear with me here. All right, guys.
Prime XBT is the most powerful trading platform offering immediate access to over 30 assets. Trade cryptocurrencies, forex, commodities, stock indices, and much more, all from a single Bitcoin settled account. Visit the link below and start trading on Prime XBT in minutes.
YFDAI is democratizing finance by creating the most secure, transparent, and user-friendly ecosystem of DeFi products. To learn more, visit thebirdpress.com/YFDAI. Bistro is a decentralized peer-to-peer food marketplace that makes ordering food more convenient and rewarding for both providers and customers. Learn more at thebirdpress.com/bistro. Equinix is a NASDAQ-listed digital assets company offering crypto exchange, custody, asset management, borrowing and lending services, and more. Enhance your crypto wealth today at thebirdnest.com/Equinix. The Change DeFi app allows you to become your own digital bank with automated financial services that give you complete control over your wealth while enjoying 100% freedom and security. Sign up today at thebirdnest.com/change. Polkadex is a cutting-edge, order book-based decentralized exchange for the DeFi ecosystem built on Substrate. Learn more at thebirdnest.com/Polkadex. World is a global digital marketplace that rewards both users and merchants on every transaction. Start buying, selling, and earning today at thebirdnest.com/worldtoken.
All right, what's up, everyone? Great to see so many people in here. So this is actually a Nest Club webinar, right? So it's a Nest Club member member webinar that I'm doing publicly, right? So if you're interested, if you like what you're about to see tonight, consider going to birdnest.com/free trial to sign up to try out the community for 7 days free, no question asked, no credit card needed or anything like that. All right, so I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the crypto market here after doing a market scan. And I can say this, right? It does look like Bitcoin is founding a high time frame support area right here, right? So we can go to the clean chart right here, and looking at the daily, I do like the fact that, let's see, maybe this chart, this shows it better. Yeah, so looking at how price came down and touched the, let's say the 40K region. So looking at this from a high time perspective, let's just say $40,000 area, right? It's constant with the 50% level here, and a decent high time frame support, as you can see here on this chart right here. So seeing that we have the daily wicks being bought up here in this area right here, it tells me that there's something going on here. There's obviously a lot of buyers stepping in here. This area is, it's a rounded retest. It's the first rounded retest of the breakout area, right? So let me just give me a second here. Right. So yeah, it's the first rounded retest of the breakout area here of 40K, confident with the 50% fib. I'm really liking this, right? But we gotta remember that we're in a local bearish market structure, right? So the daily market structure right now is actually quite bearish with, lower highs and lower lows. So it's important to remember that before the 45K region is actually reclaimed, it's hard to really determine this as a probable high time frame bottom with regards to price action, right? So when the way I determine the bottom is you want to see clear signs of a bullish break in market structure, and you want to see a clear change in behavior of the trend. And even though I'm seeing some good signs of this actually being the high time frame bottom, I mean, it's a first round retest of a significant support area. It makes total sense for this to be the high time frame bottom, but we need to get some confirmation on that. And the way it's confirmed, according to my analysis, is if we can get a reclaim of the 45k area right here, that means we have a potential bullish break in the market structure. And I'm just going to paint it's a very simple market structure right here, where we have the high right here, the low, the lower high, and the lower low. And hopefully we could see something like a lower high here, a reclaim of 45k as the high time frame, higher low, and that would confirm for me a bullish break in market structure on the daily. Now, looking at the 4-hour, I can definitely see this being, as long as we don't trade lower than, let's say, 41k, I can definitely see this as being the higher low of that move, right? But when we had, let's use the replay function here, right? So when we had that bounce right there, it looked really good. It looked like we really did have a potential higher low here, right? With this being the low, and then that being the high, the lower high, low, and lower low, and that being a potential higher low. So we would get something like this, right? But we then had a second retest of that level to create a equal low, creating a double bottom, and that kind of invalidates that idea. But at the same time as it's invalidated that idea, it kind of creates a new interesting bottom formation here on the 4-hour, where you have a double bottom on the 4-hour, and you get that break and retest of the W, the neckline of the W. And as long as we can hold this area, it's looking pretty nice, right? And if we can hold this area of support, I would like to see a break above the 45k area for a reclaim, and that would confirm this as a highly, a probable high time frame bottom right now. What I'm seeing right now is, if we can't, obviously we have some type of range forming right here, right? So you can clearly see here that we have some type of range forming with the W neckline, the resistance of this 4-hour double bottom, the W acting as range EQ, right? So obviously, losing range EQ, and we likely head down to the range lows at around 41k. And if we can hold this and stop moving higher, we most likely come up and test the 45k area as range highs. And of course, if we do break above this range high, I would look for a break and retest of the range high area for a potential continuation move to the upside, and that would also most likely look like a bullish break in market structure on the daily, right? So that kind of makes sense. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of trying to determine if this is the high time frame bottom for Bitcoin or not. And basically what I'm doing here is, I have a long-term bag of Bitcoin and some select altcoins, but that's a long-term hold, and it's such a small amount that I'm okay with the big possible swings that the Bitcoin might give us, right? And I'm going to talk about that, the potential downside here. So when I'm filling up on my long-term bags of Bitcoin and the bigger altcoins, I'm always asking myself, how much am I willing to lose? Where is the invalidation of this whole high time frame uptrend, right? Because I do believe that Bitcoin right now is in a primary uptrend, primary macro uptrend, with this being a higher low in a sequence of higher low. Obviously that is a lower high, but this could definitely turn into a continuation of the high time frame uptrend. There's no question about that. Where would be invalidated? Well, I'm watching the long RLC here as my invalidation area for this idea. If price starts trading below the 0.786 and the RLC is measured from that low to this high, if this happens, well, I think that's definitely going to invalidate the whole idea of Bitcoin is it being in a macro uptrend, right? And that is when I will consider exiting that long-term bag. And on the contrary, if we reclaim 45K, that is when I'm going to increase those positions, right? So right now, I'm accumulating my positions right here, but it has to, you have to take into consideration that Bitcoin might actually drop, 20% when accumulating that position. So you're okay with a, 15 to 20% decrease in price. However, if price can reclaim the 45K area, if price can then reclaim the 45K area, I'm going to increase risk, right? I'm going to increase risk. And from there on, my invalidation level would be 10% on those long-term holdings, because if we do have something like this, my invalidation level for this new trend comes up and becomes these lows right here, if that kind of makes sense. All right, so that's my views on Bitcoin, which right now is neutral to bullish, right? It's neutral to bullish. Neutral because it's in a range, it's on a high time frame support, but it's in a downtrend. It's in a local daily downtrend. And there's no real signs of a breakout happening now. I'm just going to follow price, right? I'm predominantly a price action trader. I look at price always. For me, it's all about market structure and horizontal levels. If we can reclaim 45K, we create a bullish break in market structure, and that is when I want to increase my position size on Bitcoin and the major altcoins. Now, looking at the BTC dominance right here, we're going to take a look at the altcoin market. We're going to look at the BTC dominance and the altcoin indices to see if we can find any pattern or any primary trends in the altcoin market. And this would guide us in which direction we would look at when it comes to going long altcoins or not. So let's look at the BTC dominance right here. So let's use the line chart, because it makes no sense using candles on a chart you can trade. So BTC dominance right here is we got the higher lows right here coming into resistance. This is looking like it might want to break out, right? So the market structure here, and looking at altcoins like the altcoin indices, I would say that I'm neutral to bearish on altcoins, right? Not long term, just as a trader, just as a short to medium time frame trader. I'm bullish. I'm neutral to bearish on altcoin, while I'm neutral to bullish on Bitcoin, right? Which means I would happily accumulate Bitcoin here, but I'm holding off on trading altcoins short to medium term. Let's look at the altcoin indices right here. So I got on FTX, we have altcoin indices. We have the alt perp, the mid perp, the shit perp, the DeFi perp, and all those different indices right here. So looking at the alt perp, now this is a basket of different coins. If you want to know exactly which one is in this basket, you go to ftx.com and check out. They've listed it all. And the alt perp is obviously, we had a great run on altcoins right here, right? Great one. That's when we posted a lot of interesting calls. We made a lot of money right there. And then we had a break in market structure right here, with this turning into resistance and this turning into resistance, creating a bearish market structure. So on a whole, altcoins in general is in a bearish market structure right here. I'm not interested in going long on altcoins right here, because this tells me that the market is not showing me the strength that I want to be buying. Looking at the mid perp, we have exactly the same thing. Bearish market structure, the shit perp bearish market structure, right? So that in combination with the BTC dominance tells me that maybe we should stay away from going long altcoins right now as traders. Now, as long-term investors, that's a whole nother point, but I'm viewing the market as a short to medium time frame at best trader. So with that said, I have a green list here, and this is a list with the coins that I think are displaying some of the most interesting market structure in the market right now. And I'll show you first the one which is EGLD, which we have a active call right now in the Birb nest. I told you guys that I exited fully at TP1, but I also advised you guys to stay in if we get a bounce at the entry point, which we got right here. If we lose the entry point right here, I don't really see a lot of reason to stay in this, honestly. But it's still displaying a pretty good, bullish market structure. What I'm looking for when I'm scanning the markets, I'm doing this a couple of times every week, and basically what I'm doing is I have a whole list with all the coins available on FTX, right? And I quickly scan through it, and I look for high time frame, daily, and 4-hour bullish market structure. I would like to find coins that are above the daily and 50 EMA. We're just displaying some strength, right? EGLD is definitely one of them right here. REN is actually displaying a pretty nice bullish market structure right here. So this is actually something that I'm willing to potentially go long on, because this is definitely displaying a lot of strength as compared to a lot of other altcoins in the market right now. AVAX is another great example of that, where we have a bullish market structure right here above the daily and the 50 EMA. I think for AVAX right here, this was just a setup idea we looked at, but for AVAX right here, I would really love to see a reclaim of the I don't know, 42K region, $42 area. A break and retest of that area would really be nice for AVAX. I think if we get that, this would be a fantastic trade right now. Even entering here with a 10% stop loss, having the stop loss around below 61 is definitely interesting, but I'm not really. I want some extra confirmation of strength here before going long on anything in the altcoin market, because of the fact how how the BTC dominance looks and the altcoin indices. Another one I'm really liking is FTT. Now we can look at FTT from a high time frame perspective. As a short to medium time frame trader, I would look at a break and retest of the $60 area for a trade on FTT up to the highs, right? That would be fantastic. It means that we're reclaiming the 4-hour moving averages, we're reclaiming the daily and 50 EMA on the daily, obviously, and that would tell me to perhaps go long on FTT. But looking at this from a daily perspective, right? So let's go to the daily. You can also see that it's testing a very, very nice area on the daily, right? So accumulating FTT here for a long-term position, it's not a bad idea. I think having a stop loss that's, I don't know, like 15%, 10 to 15% below current price is definitely interesting. I would play this stop without, I would play this spot without any stop losses. So I would just add alerts and exit the position if there's a breakdown here and the bearish rejection and continuation to the downside. I would exit that if this happens. But to accumulate FTT here is probably not a bad idea. I do like this chart a lot. So as you can see here, I will post this list in my channel and the Birb nest. You can check it out and download it if you want onto your own trading view, right? But this is what I'm watching. CRV, not really. And we can just go through this list. And considering that these are the strongest coins that I've found, and looking at them, they're not really that strong, would give you an indication of where the current altcoin market is right now. We need to see some breakouts. We need to see some lost support getting reclaimed again. It really does look like, by the way, this one right here, DYDX, a reclaim of this area would be absolutely fantastic. The $18 area would be absolutely fantastic. So I got my alerts right here waiting for a retest and a bounce, and I would most likely go long here if that happens. Anyway, like you can see here that clearly we need to get some type of strength to be put in here. One is in a great local uptrend. I really do like this. So if we can get a 4-hour bullish engulfing here with a 4-hour stochastic bull cross, that would be great. But I'm probably not gonna enter any trades on altcoins tonight, because I do feel like it's just it's too risky. I would rather see some strength and then enter any trades at the beginning of the day, so I can monitor the trades during the day and see what happens, right? If I enter now and I go to bed in about an hour, it's like I feel like it's just we're in a not the best scenario to not be monitoring the call for a couple of hours. So I would definitely wait. Link is very interesting right here. But again, this is a great example of what I'm talking about. We need to see some strength come in here. We need to see a reclaim of the, let's say, $25 to $26 area right here. If we can see that on Link, I do think that we have a breakout above this range right here, and we'll probably see continuation up to the $30 area, and that would be a great trade to take. But it's just not happening right now. So this is actually one of the most important parts about trading, right? When you enter a scenario where not a lot is happening, you're watching the altcoin market and you're watching Bitcoin, and you're like, there's nothing clear here. There's setup isn't aligning perfectly. Everything's just chopping around. It's in a range. That is when you're probably best off not taking a trade, right? So a big part about trading is you're sitting on your hands and waiting for the right opportunities to come to you. The number one goal as a trader should be to observe and listen to whatever the market has to tell you, and act on whatever it's telling you. And right now it's telling us that there's no clear direction. There's no clear sign of a direction. And more importantly for me, there is no entry triggers for my trading system, right? I don't see any entry triggers for my trading system. I do see some interesting short opportunities, but I'm not going to short this market because I do believe that we're in a bull market, right? Still, well, I don't know, but still probably, a high time for bull market. So I'm not interested in shorting altcoins right here, because all it takes is just one big candle for Bitcoin and you're completely stopped out of that one. So I would rather trade with the high time frame trend, which is up. All right. Let's see if we have any see if we have any questions. How how are your running sessions going? How long do you run on average? I run between 30 and 60 minutes, and Birb really did put me up to it. He so Crypto Birb, he threatened with me with the Polish mafia and sent people home to me and kidnapped my family, and said basically I had to go out on a run for 60 minutes every day, or he's gonna do some nasty stuff. So yeah, that really got me going. Another one, we got a question here on the private mentorship. So I'm at full capacity. Like I have huge request of students, but I'm just at full capacity. I just can't accept any more students. I'm just capped, but there might be some spots opening up. So you can maybe send me a DM on Discord or Twitter, and we can talk more about that. Right, so we got some sharding quests right here. So Ethereum, Luna, Link, and a bit of Soul. Yeah. Yeah, on camera he's super nice. On camera he's like super nice. What is your take on XTC? Let's look at that. I do hope you guys understand that. Like, I don't want to get into any legal troubles, so I hope you guys understand that he's not threatening me or anything like that. He haven't kidnapped my family, so you don't have to call the police or anything like that. Obviously, you guys know that, but I don't know. Like, internet is a weird place. A lot of weird people on here. Weird people. XTC perp. I like this. I have it on my list here, so I have it on the green list right here. I mean, you like this. I don't like this. These spikes right here is just, I don't know what to think about that, but it's obviously in a uptrend, right? But it's actually holding the daily moving averages. It's in an uptrend. I do like that. So what I'm focusing on is this level right here, which you could say it's like, if this is a range, this would definitely be the range EQ, right? It's obviously not a range, but it could develop into a range, and this is definitely one of the strongest levels on the chart. So I'd like to watch that one, and then add some fibs here. Maybe look at a trend line here as well. Do we have something going on here? What if we connect this low and that one? Yeah, you can see here that, you know, and there's probably going to be someone in the chat saying like, why is he connecting wicks and bodies and that shit? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter if it makes sense. If it looks good, it looks good. If it looks good, it makes sense. All right. So right here we have a trend lines, and horizontals are subjective, right? It's there's no you trade them like if you would trade a horizontal level, right? So you have a horizontal level. So a lot of people use horizontal levels, and then a lot of people also use horizontal zones, right? Where you have a horizontal level, and then around that you have a buffer zone. So it's like a horizontal area around that level. It's the same thing with trend lines, right? So you could imagine that you're using the channel tool, right? So you have a channel tool right here. And what if you kind of extend the channel tool like that, and then to the downside to include these wicks, just like this would be the trend line, but you have a trend line to but it's also always going to be a buffer zone around that line, right? So looking at the Teslas right here, what if what if, I mean, the 618 is really in a great area right here. So what if we come down and test the trend line? What if we get something like this, right? You might get something like this. You come down into long RLC, and let's say you get a downtrend that lasts for the next 7 to 10 days. If that's the case, you have a trend line trend that lasts for 10 days, let's say 10 days, and you hit the daily 50 EMA, which would then maybe be in this area, and you might get a wick down to the 0.786 and the trend line. Now that would be beautiful. That would be perfect. It means you have a bottom forming on a significant daily moving averages. Maybe the daily stochastics are size oversold as well, and hit that trend line. That is what I would be looking at on Teslas, right? But if we come down and then form around the bottom here, well, I would buy that round the bottom, but you have to kind of follow price action here. So look for a confirmation of strength inside the blue box, or look for a bounce on the trend line if there's good confluence with the trend line. All right, guys, I don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to try to go through all the questions. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat right here. So let's just do, I'm just going to select some stuff on random here. How do I take profits? How do I take profit? Yeah, okay. This is a good question. How do you define target prices? I mean, I guess, where do I take profit, basically, by favorite placement or something else? So yeah, all right. So two things. If there's nothing, if there's no logical profit taking areas when looking to the left of the chart. So when looking left, looking at historic price, if there's no logical place to take profit, I'm going to be basing the fibs. I have this fib template right here, and I'm going to be basing my take profits on the 0% fib, the -236 fib, and the -618 fib. And the way I'm doing that is I'm taking 25% profit here, 25% profit here, and 50% profit here for my last take profit. And that would give me an average R of the setup right around the -382. And then my optimum entry area is the long RLC. I've also included the 50% fib because a lot of times you see a price reacting very nicely to the 50%, but the optimum entry area is the long RLC. And the best types of setups is where I can enter on a, get price action coming down into the long RLC, forming a nice W in the reload zone like that, break and retest off that W, and you go up, right? And I would then enter on the break and retest and a reclaim up to 0.618, which is like just a magical number. And I would then have the stop loss below the long RLC and then take profit like this. So on this setup, for example, my average R would be 4.78. Now, if I want to leave a moon bag, if I think that I'm buying a project that is just fundamentally super strong and we have some fundamental catalyst coming up, I'm going to take 25% profit at the last TP. I'm then going to leave 25% of the position open in case we do have a nice trend to form. With that said, I'm actually going to show you a very nice trend that you could have catched just beautifully by doing this, and it's on a coin called Bitcoin, I think. No, I think it's on Cake. Let's look at Cake. Pretty sure this one had a picture perfect uptrend on the last altcoin. Yeah, look at this, right? Look at this. All right, so you have Cake. Wait, I removed something weird here. All right, it's got Cake. Well, so where would I have entered this? Well, all right, so let's look at this then. We have right here, we got a low and a high. Price comes down and tests the 618 right here. So let's see how this plays out, and I'll show you exactly how I take profits. Price hits the 50. Price hits the 50. Do we have right? So we have a bullish engulfing on the 1 hour, testing the 4 hour 20 EMA and the 50% fib with a stochastic bull cross below 30. This is the setup. This is like this is my setup, right? This is the only setup I trade, and this is exactly how I trade it, right? So I wait for a bullish engulfing, confirming this is the bottom. I haven't watched this. I haven't prepared this. I have no idea if this is going to work. All I know is price is going to go up, but I don't know if I'm going to get stopped up. But let's just try it out, and we're going to enter once again if it happens. So if I take 25 here, and 50 up here, my average R on this trade would be 4.3. And when the average R is above 3 or 4, I'm just going to exit. I'm just going to take that trade because a 3 or 4 R trade for me is really nice. Those are the winners that are going to make up for all my losers maybe that week, and that is what that's what makes me profitable. But I don't have, like, out of 10 trades, I might have like 2 or 3 trades which are for our winners, and my win rate is about 60%. So I might have 2 or 3 like this one, or even maybe 1, but then I'm going to have a lot of 1R winners or break-even trades and stuff like that. But it's these winners that actually make up for all the losers. Now, imagine if you sell 25%, that's the 0% fib, 25 at -236, and then 25 at the 618. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the behavior of the trend. You're going to look at the behavior of the trend and then tell yourself, what invalidates this, right? what invalidates this, and then you're gonna obviously look at what indicators you're using to kind of guide you in that. So in this case right here, I'm using the blue 20 EMA and the gray 50 EMA on the 4-hour right here, which is the not the dotted one slide. So we're just gonna say that whenever we have a 4-hour open and close below the 50 EMA and the 4-hour, I'm gonna exit that last 25% if we do rally nicely here. So let's just see how this plays out, right? Right, so TP1 should have been hit there, or let's just say TP1 got hit, then we have TP2 being hit, and then lastly TP3. Well, let's just say we hold this trade, which I will probably have exit this one. I will probably have exit this one earlier. Maybe not, looking the 4-hour. Anyway, TP3 got hit right there. Now we had 25% of the position still open. Got 25% of the position still open, and we want to ride this and exit whenever we have a 4-hour open and close below the 50 EMA. So let's see what happens here. Where do we have a 4-hour open and close below the 50 EMA? Well, let's see. Right here, okay? So that is when we exit that trade, and that is how you play a moonbag, right? So we have right here, we have that is the 4-hour open and close right there. So right here we exit. 16-hour trade is nice. Obviously, it's not going to be that on average. So now let's calculate the average R of this trade right here, because that's the important part. You always have to calculate. It doesn't matter what it says right here. This number on the trading view, like the long calculation here, the 16.42, doesn't matter at all. It matters 0%. All that matters is the average exit price. So we use the range tool to determine the middle of the 0 and the 236. So that is the middle of that's the fifth. That's where I exit 50% of the position. Then we have the 50% region between the -618 and that exit target right here. And then to determine the average R, we use that middle point to that middle point, and this will then be our average exit, right? So we go from a trade that would have been 4.3 to 7R, right? Which is actually very good. So that's the idea of holding a moonbag. I do think that when we post call in the Burbness, we say, exit 25% here, 25% there, and then leave 50% or 25% open as a moonbag. And we don't specifically say where to exit that moonbag, but this is the method that I'm using, and I think most people should use. You look at the behavior of the trend that you're entering, and you're going to exit that trade and that trend whenever there's a change in behavior. So where did we see a change in behavior? Well, up here when we have a 4-hour open and close above the 50, below the 50 EMA for the first time since this trade began. Now what happened after that? Well, what happened after that was this. We basically exited at the top. So we entered cake on a confirmed bullish market structure and a bullish trend above all the major moving averages, and we basically got to experience the whole run for 50% on cake. So that's basically exactly how I take profit based on the fibs. Now let's look at how you take profit based on historic prices, and you use the fibs fib retracement as a guide on where you want to look at taking profits, right? So like I said, I do take profits at the 0, the -236 and the 618. Now looking at the daily, I usually go out to the daily and I look for areas that is in agreement with my take profit levels. So here's one. It's right above the -236, right? So I would just put it right below the 236. So that level actually agrees with my fib take profit strategy. Another pretty obvious one is this one right here, and it's right above the -618. So if you go down to the 1 hour, you will see that the levels that I've added right here is actually right in accordance almost perfectly with my take profit strategy based on the fibs. So if I do enter a take profit strategy based on the -236, it will also be based on a significant daily resistance area by looking to the left of the chart, and same with the 618. So I'm going to front run this level and front run that level. And this 0% just makes sense because it's the it's basically just the last highs, right? So this 0% here, that's just the last local highs, which it always makes sense to take some profits at the last local high that kind of created the retrace that you want to be buying, basically. All right, let's see. Anything else? Anything else? Are there still entries for step? I knew this is gonna get brought up. So let's look at that one. This is actually beautiful, beautiful, beautiful chart. Let's look at the 4 hour. So I would say that a re-entry in step would be a reclaim of this level right here. I think that would be beautiful. If we could get a break and retest, we have the break. Let's see if we can have a retest of the 0.83 area. 0.83 areas, I think, is a great buying opportunity for step. If you're in this position, you could look at adding to this position or getting out if this level gets lost as support. All right, guys, that's it for me tonight. Hopefully you find this somewhat educational, entertaining, and entertaining or whatever. So if you obviously I couldn't go through everything tonight, but let me if you need any help with anything, just you can send me a DM on Twitter at libs42, or you can send me a DM on Discord and we can talk if you need help with anything. If you're interested in the private mentorship program, just send me a DM on Twitter and the Discord and we can talk about that if we have any spots opening up. All right, guys, that's it. Take care and see you guys in the next one.